Hi everybody, Dugras here with Dugras Reports. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a hilariously bad customer service experience that I had recently with Avis, the car rental company. There was nothing wrong with the rental itself, but I got a hilariously bad email after the fact. I'm going to call it Avis just made stuff up. Before I dive into those details, though, on this channel we talk about finding epic value, including, but not limited to, credit card rewards. That includes things like maximizing car rentals, although this video is more just an interesting story. If that sort of thing sounds interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel, and please click the thumbs up button. Any action like giving a thumbs up, commenting, subscribing, helps the YouTube algorithm, helps my channel get to the point where I can monetize. I'd like to get over 1,000 subscribers. If you've already subscribed, I thank you for doing so. Let's dive in. Avis just made stuff up. So in my last video I mentioned I took a trip to Yorktown and Norfolk, Virginia, and I used Avis as the rental car company. The reservation was for a pickup at approximately 12:30 a.m. on April 23rd. I made my original reservation on March 12th, and you'll see here the estimated total for the exact car I chose was a little over $307. My airplane landed just a touch after midnight, and the pickup time was approximately 12:29 a.m. I say approximately because first I went to the booth. I was a Preferred Plus member, so I got to skip the rental car counter. I have that Preferred Plus membership because of a benefit with my US Bank Altitude Reserve credit card. And I can put a video up there in the corner that tells you a little more about that credit card. But anyhow, I take pictures with my phone that are time-stamped that show when I picked it up, any damage, etc. There's a little scratch on the front left fender here, so you'll see there was a time-stamped picture at 12:29 a.m. And just to prove that my phone is displaying the correct time in the correct time zone, when I got back to the motel, I took a picture of the clock in the room. I, for some reason, thought it was an interesting clock, just to show that I was already back in the motel by 1:08 a.m., and my phone said 1:06, so it might be off by 2 minutes, but at most 2 minutes. All these details are important later because they talk about pickup and drop-off times in the email that I'm going to get. Oh, and on that previous page, bear in mind, I had already picked up my keys, spoken to the man at the booth, scanned my receipt, and was walking to the car before 12:29 a.m. So it would be 12:29, maybe 12:31 at the absolute latest. Here's the printed receipt they gave me at pickup, and you can see here I was kind of disappointed. It was $404 as the estimated charge. Almost $100 more than my estimate. No explanation was given. I asked the customer service agent in the little booth what the discrepancy was, and he said, "Oh, I don't have any way of checking on that. You'll either have to call or email Avis Corporate." Given that it was 12:30 in the morning almost, I didn't want to make an issue of it. I just said, "Okay, I'll send him an email tomorrow." When I woke up the next morning, I had this email waiting for me. It had been sent at 11:04 p.m. Bear in mind, that was before my plane even landed, and it had that same price, $404, almost $100 too much. What I found odd is they said I picked up the car at 1:15 a.m. How could they know when I picked it up if this email was sent before my plane even landed in Norfolk? We'll see more on that later. I sent this email to Avis the next morning in response. Can you tell me why the estimated total of my receipt is $404.17 while the online reservation said $307? And I put on a screenshot. I would especially wonder what the taxable extras are. Seems a little misleading to leave that off. Best wishes. You'll notice there's a line here that says taxable extras back 2 pages, right there. Taxable extras. That's pretty vague. That's my email. Skip ahead in time. A few days later, I returned it at April 26th, just after 4:07 p.m. I say just after because I took a time-stamped video that was recorded after check-in, and that was at 4:24 p.m. You'll see up here there's kind of a reflection of me walking around the car, videoing it. Always a good idea to take video and pictures of your rental car at the time of pickup and at the time of drop-off. So if you're accused of something later, you can say, that was already there, or that was not there when I dropped it off. This video or this screenshot on the left is me taking a picture that I have full fuel gauge at the gas station just outside of the Norfolk airport. It even says here 308. Now, it was always off by one time zone the whole time I had it, so that'd really be 408. I have 407. And this gas station was like a half mile from the airport, so it took me like 5 minutes to get from the gas station to the airport. It's not a big airport. You pull in, there's clear signage. I pulled into the Avis area. There's a long line of return vehicles, and pulled up behind them. The Avis agent walked up to me. She scanned the thing on the door. We had a brief conversation. Then after that, I started taking the video. So we know for sure somewhere between 4:07 p.m. and 4:24 p.m., my car was checked in. Again, that time will be important later on. Now, at that point, I went up to the Preferred Plus booth, and there was two employees, the same agent, a man who had originally helped me, and a younger female employee who appeared to be a manager of some kind. And I said, hey, why is my estimate so much higher? And she did some things, some typing on the computer. She said, oh, you had an Amazon code on there. And I was like, well, what does that mean? She said, in your list of discount codes you can choose from, there's like your employer's code, like if you have the certain credit card, and then there was a promotion from Amazon. Well, I remember renting a car over a year ago with a promotion from Amazon where you got a decent rate and like a $10 or $15 Amazon gift card if you use that code when renting from Avis. Because that gave me the cheapest result, I chose it. What the agent said is that code has to be endorsed by Amazon. We sent it off to Amazon. It didn't check out, which is why you got charged the higher rate. But as a show of good faith, we'll match that original rate because it was showing online. And she actually changed it so the amount was just under $300, actually slightly less than my original estimate. So the pickup of the car was easy. The drop-off was easy. I didn't love having to talk to an agent to fix the price, but when I did, they fixed it. At this point, I'm flying home. I think everything is fine. Haven't got an email response yet, but everything's fine. I've been charged the correct amount. It showed up on my credit card statement on my US Bank Altitude Reserve right there, $289. It was actually $17 less than my original quote, which probably would also account for the Amazon gift card. Of course, I would rather save $100 and not get a $15 Amazon gift card. So I was very happy. No problems whatsoever in my mind at that point. Here's the email reply from Avis on May 3rd, which was laughably bad and came 1 week to the day after I returned the car. There's some lines about thanking you and, typically what can affect your rate. I'm going to be a nice guy and not show the name of the customer service agent. And here I've typed out exactly what they said so it's more readable. After reviewing our records carefully, we have determined that this is what happened in your case. When your rental parameters changed from taking our rental at 12:30 a.m. to actually taking it at 1:15 a.m. and returning it at 4:34 p.m. instead of 4 o'clock p.m. as agreed upon, the original quoted rate defaulted and a different rate, additional fee that met your new rental parameters was applied to your contract. Now, I want to point out they did not reinstate the higher price. I got to keep the lower good price. So I'm not upset, but this email is laughably bad, and I'm going to tell you why. Avis said actually taking it, the car, at 1:15 a.m. As I mentioned earlier, I have screenshots and a picture of a clock proving that I had already got my key, gotten in the car, or loaded my car, taken video and pictures of the car, driven to the motel, checked into the motel, carried my luggage up to the room, and taken this picture on the right by no later than 1:08 a.m. If I was already off the airport property in my motel room at 1:08 a.m., how did I check it out at 1:15 a.m.? Avis also said returning it at 4:34 p.m. instead of 4 o'clock p.m. as agreed upon. First point is, even if that's true, it's not, but even if it is, do you really want your Preferred Plus customers punished $97 for a 34-minute difference, even if this was the reason? And again, I can prove that it's not, but that's a terrible policy. 34-minute differential for $97? Come on. Secondly, remember these two pictures? I had already checked in before 4:24 p.m. and I have the screenshots to prove it. But even if I was 34 minutes late, that can't be the real reason. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say my camera's way off. That can't be the real reason. Here's why. The email with the bad estimate of $97 was sent on April 22nd, before I even picked up the car. Did they look into the future and somehow know that I would pick it up way too late, a whole 45 minutes late? Did they project magically into the future and know this guy is going to return the car 34 minutes late? They had absolutely no way of knowing when I would eventually return the car when the $97 higher estimate was produced. Because again, looking at the picture here, this email arrived the night before, slightly. I picked it up April 22nd, 11:04 p.m., and I didn't return it to April 26th. The original time listed was 4 o'clock p.m. Interestingly, somehow they knew I would pick it up 15 minutes late, even though I hadn't even taken off that leg of my flight yet. Oh yeah, I'm pointing at it there with an arrow. That date is still 4 days in the future when I get this email. My theory is that Avis is somehow like looking at your flight number, because I did put my flight number in, and just kind of guessing when I would pick it up. But what was the real reason? According to the manager on site, it had to do with the expired Amazon promo rate code. I find this explanation to be plausible. Now, I will fault Avis. You shouldn't have a system that allows customers to store expired promotional rate codes in their online profile. But let's say they messed up. I had an old promo rate. They pinged it to see if the company who issued it would honor it, in this case Amazon, and they didn't. It defaults to the higher standardized rate. I think that's probably the real reason, although I will never know for sure. This seems highly plausible. What's up with that, Avis? So first of all, why are you sending emails that contradict on-site employees? The customer service person in the email center said it was because I picked up 45 minutes late and I returned it 34 minutes late. But that's not what the person on site told me. They told me it was I have a expired promo code. Secondly, why are your customer service representatives just guessing or making stuff up? I've already proved earlier in this email that your times are wrong. Again, I have a theory that they just sort of estimate the time if they have a chance early in the day of when they think you'll arrive. But if they're going to estimate, that's a really bad practice to hold you financially accountable for an estimate that they make that they have no way of knowing if it's actually going to pan out or not. Now, I've worked in customer service before. I worked in a call center for almost 6 years once. I know and I appreciate that customer service representatives, the email callback team, whatever you call them, they're probably stretched very thin. So I'm guessing what happened here is you had a rep who looked at the email, couldn't figure it out quickly, so he just took an educated guess what he thought the reason probably was, even though I've been able to document that that's not the case. So if I was giving recommendations to Avis, I would say hire more people, pay them more, give them more ability to do their job well and properly, realizing lots of companies are having a hard time maintaining and hiring good employees. But whatever you do, don't just make stuff up. That's obviously what happened here. What have your experiences been with Avis or other rental car companies? I know from previous experience that even if I'd gone with another company, lots of rental car companies are struggling. Before I had the email issue, I left them a 4-star review. Most of their reviews were like 1 or 2 stars. But when I looked up other rental car places in the same airport on Google Maps, any within the last 12 to 24 months were just terrible. They're averaging like 1 or 2 stars. There's just a big problem in the rental car industry right now. They can't facilitate enough cars, fast enough turnaround. I actually had a good experience other than that laughably bad email. Once again, please click the thumbs up button and please subscribe for more content. And as always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Thanks for watching.